Good everyone, welcome to this video, and today it's a Spade review on the M36 Jackson. Now, I can barely remember the guy who requested it. I think it was Radox or something like that. He basically noticed that on my player card I'd barely played the M36, and so he wanted me to do a review on this tank, and that's fair enough. I mean, it's probably the first time I've ever had someone ask for a review as a subscriber request, but even so. Now, obviously, this is the first video that I'm going to record with the new graphics card. Obviously, the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 10 or 1660 Ti. So, if there's any problems, I will try to iron them out as soon as possible. Because obviously, it's the first time I'm using the graphics card as a recording tool. Obviously, the news video that's just a news video. It's nothing really important. So, obviously, with the M36 Jackson being, shall we say, a vehicle that he wanted me to review, I had to go out and spade this thing. Now, to be honest, it wasn't too bad. I honestly thought that there's already something that replaced it, and then I remembered the T25. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a good vehicle, but it's just the fact that I don't see this vehicle as particularly. It's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. But I just think the T25 does everything better in most situations. So let's go over the armor, let's go over the vehicle, and let's go over the gun as well. So obviously, armor. This vehicle is based on an M10A1 hull. So you're not going to get much. With the frontal plate being 38mm, the transmission cover being 50, and the thickest part being 107. Even though that's technically false because there is an extra 100mm plate behind the 76.2, somewhere around here, but even so, most people just shoot here and it will go straight through. Sorry about that. I was sorting out something on Facebook and I forgot to close it down. Whatever. But obviously, the vehicle doesn't have particularly good armor. Obviously, there's the 100mm plates I was on about. They're around about here, so don't shoot a Jackson here, shoot it here, because then you'll go straight through into the breach, and obviously then you can put a shot through the hull. Now, the vehicle's mobility is actually pretty good. Powered by a 500 horsepower engine, this thing really does move quite nicely. Its top speed is 26 miles an hour, which means it can keep with most of the medium tanks that it will see. It will be able to outperform the German cats in terms of acceleration quite easily, so you can get into better positions than them, but they will have the higher top speed. Now, reverse is just 3 miles an hour. It's not the fastest in reverse. It's why I recommend the T25 more, because if we take a brief look at the T25, you get slightly better armor, the hull armor is much better, and the reverse gear is exactly the same as the forward gear. But obviously you get 5 crew, you get 50 cal, but if you lose your commander, that's the end of your 50. It's one of those vehicles where I really recommend people to use it, but just remember that there's always something better. Now, unfortunately, with obviously the replacement of my graphics card and an additional SSD unit added, I've actually not got the replay. But don't worry, I've got a way around this. I'll see you all in the server replay. And here we are in the server replay. Obviously, with the SSD being changed and upgraded and everything, I have had to go back and get the server replay for this battle, but even so, I remember the battle, so don't worry. So, let's get into it. So obviously, in this battle, I believe I was about 3/4 spaded. This is one of the battles that got me nearly done. I think I got, if I remember rightly, I got close to being finished due to this battle. Unfortunately though, it is a loss, which I see as a bit of an annoyance, but even so, I'm not that worried, because obviously this battle took place quite a few weeks ago, and obviously I was out of the PC for 3 days, so I could have done this sooner, but unfortunately, yeah. So that AC4 there, he does not wait for the team to, well, not all the team, because there's still like another 4 tanks coming down the road. But that AC4 did not wait for the rest of the team, and he just drives on. Obviously, you've got the mobility to get into the capture zone. Bit of bad driving on my part there, but you've got the mobility to get into the capture zone reasonably quickly. You're not going to beat the M18s, and, well, yeah. Now I did forget to go over the gun of this thing. It's a 90mm M3, same as the T25. Obviously you can see down there I use primarily APCBC. You don't get that stock, you get an AP round. It's still pretty good AP round, but just bear in mind you won't be able to deal with targets all that well. Now, obviously once you get the APCBC round, you're going to be doing a lot of one-shots on most vehicles. Not all of them, but most. The APCR round has gotten me out of a sticky situation more than once. Obviously, King Tiger Henschels you will see in this thing at 5.7. So you're going to be seeing a lot of vehicles like that. Obviously, as you can see down here, we've got loads of friendlies, and, well, there's going to be a moment where I nearly crap myself in this battle, and, well, we're getting up to that point. Obviously, for some reason I got the Adamant Award, because a person dropped artillery on this corner and got loads of markings and all that. And here's where I pretty much shit myself. I saw the PEA, he drops bombs, I'm looking for the bombs, and I'm thinking, I'm probably going to die, I'm just going to reverse. But he's only got the 1,000 kilos, and he hits well, the bombs go behind a house, and yeah. So, I do apologise if the server replay is a bit buggy. Obviously, server replays are more, shall we say, they're a bit more vulnerable to stuttering than normal replays, so just bear that in mind. And obviously, this is quite an old battle, so just bear that in mind. So the PE-8 flies overhead. I did score a couple of hits for the 50 cal. I believe I get the assist on him. I think someone shoots him down and I get the assist for scoring those hits. Obviously there is conflicting sound bugs, sound bombs, because the original author on the actual replay file was that M8 armoured car who's just died. I don't know why you'd bring an M8 into a 6-0 game, but whatever. So obviously the mobility enables me to pretty much maneuver around, and even if that PE-8 had dropped the 5000, I think I was okay in that situation. Obviously this Centurion is down here, is pinning down the rest of the team. Obviously there's the assist on the PE-8. And at this point I'm thinking, what should I do? Because obviously if I was in the T25, I'd be where that T20 is and pushing up. But obviously I'm not in a T25, I'm in a Jackson. This thing's not very well armoured, as I've shown. The only time I've survived shots was if it was a ridiculous angle of the front plate, the gun mantlet with the 100mm additional armor plating there, and that's really it. You do not want to rely on your armor in this thing. That is for definite. So you may notice I'm not being as aggressive as I normally would be. I'm being very careful, and you have to be careful with this thing. You cannot rush in. If you do, you will die. Simple facts, you will. Because the German guns will slice through you like butter, the Russian guns will slice through you like butter. So, just bear that in mind. But obviously, moving up again, obviously, there is a few tanks on the left-hand side, just near this road over here, on Advance to the Rhine. And I'm moving up to try and assist my team. Now, oh, hold on, it's kicked me out of the player view. Sometimes you get that with server replays. But there is actually a couple of tanks down here. There's a PT-76 and a Panther. Obviously we've got 3 teammates here pinned down, so I thought, right, I'll use the Jackson mobility and get around. Obviously there's the PT-76. I can only just see his gun barrel, and I was thinking, should I go for the gun barrel shot? I was like, okay, might as well. Might get the assist out of it then. But obviously I spot the Panther. Put a shot right to the Panther, take out his gun breech and his machine gun, which I mean, the second one isn't really useful. I get the assist on the PT-76, and I move in to try and take out the Panther. Now, I do aim wrong here. I aim for the armoured slope on the 100mm. I shouldn't have done that, but even so, the Panther presents me as front, so I just put a shot right in, and that's my first kill. Now, you're going to witness a nice bit of karma as well. Normally, whenever it comes to capturing zones of the enemy side, so let's say on this map you've got the B point, which is typically the allied side, and you've got the C point, which is typically the Axis side. I like to let people wait to get into the capture zone, but that Centurion over there has rushed in, and he's going to try and capture himself. I get the cap, he gets it as well, you're going to see a nice bit of karma. And obviously, the server replay you may notice is bugged. The vehicle speed is stuck at 9 miles an hour. Trust me, I was doing more than 9. So I get in. The Centurion obviously is looking around, and he is going to obviously get. Well, I believe that Hori gets the cap as well. Yes, he does. But right as I look at the Centurion, he gets ammo racked by Panther G. Sorry, no, it was a Tiger. I do apologise for my mistake there. But that was a nice bit of karma to see, that is for definite. Plane comes in, starts strafing us. I take a hit from I think it was the Tiger that hit me. He takes out my gunner and my commander. And here's a bit of retardation for you. This T-3045 obviously for some reason did not see my vehicle. He shoots the Hurry, sees me, but a 90mm is going through that front plate no matter what. Second kill. So up to 2 kills, 2 assists, and 2 caps. Pretty good game so far, but it's going to get better. Unfortunately, my team is not. So obviously, I knew there was a lot of enemy tanks up near the C point already, so I decided, right, let's use the mobility and let's get out of here. This thing shifts even when stock. That's how good the mobility is. It is really nice. I don't know what happened there with that camera movement, but this is the problem with server replays, I'm afraid, folks. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. I cannot help that. But another Spade review that you'll be getting in the next few days will be the AMX13 DCA40. Obviously, I'm recording this on the 14th, and I'm just going to be doing a whole load today to get myself up to the 6th of December. So we're moving back towards the B point, and this is basically where I'm going to sit for the rest of the game. And obviously, with the mobility of this thing, I was able to get out with pretty much little issue. But most of the enemy tanks on the enemy team could actually catch me, but to be honest, they weren't in a position to do so. And by that time, I was already at their line of sight. And obviously, with the commander being dead, I no longer have access to the 50 caliber, so if I wanted to, I can't shoot at the Key 84 and the BF-110 that's currently out. That M4 Sherman on my who's just gone by there. He was something like a level 13 or something like that, if I remember rightly. And he was in a 6-0 game with a 3-7 tank. Spoiler alert, he's not going to do much for this team. So we're moving up here. We're getting into we're going up to the back road because, well, everyone loves the back road on this bloody map, the 10 line. Obviously, I'm giving the Jackson all it's got. At this point, I was going at top speed. It does move. I do like the speed on this thing. That I do have to say. This vehicle really does move nicely. The AMX DCA40 review will also be done via a server replay, so just bear that in mind. So I move up to the back road, I'm thinking, is there anything down here? But then I notice my team is getting absolutely creamed by the B point. So I think, okay, I'm going to move up and I'm going to get in position to fire. Because a T-3045 has just killed the last guy on the B point. I'm thinking, crap. I'm going to have to watch my flank now. Because at the end of the day, I'm covering 2 flanks here, folks. So you can see the kind of pressure I'm under. So obviously, T-3045 moves up. I'll blow his head off. 3rd kill. That T-3045 over there obviously saw the shot. I think he thought at first it came from the right, but he soon works out it to be the left. And obviously the T-34-45 struggling what to do here. He pushes front plate a bit too much, and well, detonation, 4th kill. This Jackson's gun has got power. The M82 round can punch through 171mm with 137 grams of TNT. The APCR can do 285 at 10 meters. The shells on this thing are really good. But like I say, I just think the T-25 is better than this tank in most situations. But that's just my opinion, obviously. That's subject to your own opinion and everything. At this point, I was thinking, should I go into capture zone? Then I spot German machine gun fire and I hit the brakes and start turning around. Sherman decides to sit outside of cover, side on to a Tiger, and he regrets that life decision. And obviously I'm thinking now, I have to sit here and wait for the Tiger to make his appearance. The Tiger kills the M19, and obviously I know how hungry German players are for capture points, because most of the time the R3 steal them. So you can sort of understand why I thought he'll be hungry for this capture point. He might not have gotten the C point the first time around. He'll want those juicy capture points, and sure enough he does, but not for a bit yet. So I'm just going to sit here for a brief moment and wait for an enemy vehicle. Obviously I hear a vehicle behind me, but it turns out to be that Mad Mouse 91 who was in the Sherman earlier. He's brought an M6 A1 Heavy. I mean, that's a good vehicle, but again, I wouldn't bring it in a 6-0 game, let alone a 5-7 game. Don't get me wrong, the M6 is a good tank, but massively outclassed at 5-7 or 4-7 when you get up tiered. In a down tier, it's a pretty good tank, but even so, we're not here to discuss the M6. Obviously, I move up here and I'm obviously looking for the Tiger. And I thought, you might go through that gap there, which you can see in the gap in the wall there. And I'm thinking, okay, could sit there personally. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. And I'm thinking, well, I'll wait for him. I'll see if he's got the balls to move up. Obviously, I didn't see him moving there because I was too busy looking around. Obviously, I see the Tiger fire and he backs up just so I can get a nice shot into his ammunition. And that's my 5th kill for the game. It's at this point, however, if you look at the team list, people, my team is pretty much gone. We're down to a Typhoon who's already dropped the bombs, an A36 who's done the same, and a Corsair. In terms of tanks, we're down to me and the Jackson, a Cheery 2, and that M6 who went up the back road there. He's just killed the BTR. So we're under a lot of pressure, our team is, but we're not going to win this battle. And I think, well, best thing to do here is to at least take one more if I'm going to die. And then I'd be happy with this battle, because 5 kills already is... Well, most of my kills in this thing, well, most of my games in this thing were about 3 kills each. So, pretty reasonable. It's just, I think the T-25 would do better. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, that is weird. That was a server issue. Oh, it's because an aircraft is repaired, so that had been that Corsair. I think. Hold on, no, it's the 109. That was a weird server issue. Like I say, I don't like using server replays for this reason. They're just more of an inconvenience. So obviously I'm just sitting here and I'm waiting. I'm thinking, surely they're going to go for the capture point. And sure enough, they will. IS-1 and a Panther. So I'm thinking, right, well, I know what Stellina Marma's like, so I want to kill the IS-1 first. Even if that means the Panther kills me, I don't care. But the game ends not long after I take my 6th and final kill. So what did I think of the M36? Like I say, it's a good tank. I just think the T-25 does everything better. This vehicle's got a good ability, it's got a good gun, and it can do pretty much anything you want it to, except act like a proper tank. Obviously, from what I've been able to find as well, this could be a potential addition as well. M10s and M36 Jacksons had armored roofs installed after World War II, from what I've been able to find, so that'd be a nice addition, because you do die a lot to aircraft in this thing. So let's go briefly over my stats of the vehicle, and we can obviously end the video here. So, M36, 24 deaths, 2 air kills, one of which was on a 262 and a full up tier, and 75 ground units destroyed. So about a 3-to-1 KDR, not bad, but to be honest, I think it could have done better if I had a better reverse gear, because there's been times where I tried to reverse out of an area, but it's just not fast enough. That's why I recommend a T25 over this thing. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the M36 Jackson, and I'll see you all on the next one.